If you've ever lost a sale in B2B because we're evaluating other vendors, then this video is for you. This is the art of B2B sales, 7 advanced techniques that close more deals when you are in a vendor battle. This is how to dominate discovery, dismantle competitors, and close with confidence in highly commodified competitive markets where you're being compared to 6 other vendors. Yes, today we're going to cover the 7 advanced principles. They're going to turn you into a B2B knife fighter. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Drew Long. I help Lending Club scale from $150,000 per month to over $6 million per month in sales. And now my company, Sales by Tomorrow, helps other companies do the same. All the techniques I'm about to train you on were pioneered and tested selling commodity products to flighty consumers in highly competitive environments and sometimes to flighty businesses, where they'd fill out a lean form and get 3 calls within 5 minutes from 3 different companies, all offering basically the same product. Then they quickly jumped to make a buying decision purely on cost. If you want to know how we outclass the competition in that environment, keep on listening. Here's why you must become a knife fighter. If you're selling something, even remotely approaching a commodity, or even in a remotely competitive environment, things like home services, lead gen, or SaaS, then you must be twice as scrappy and aggressive as your competition in 2025 and beyond. This doesn't mean, by the way, guys, being rude or uncouth. It means being more direct, more prepared, and more willing to call out problems than anyone else they'll talk to. Your prospects should leave each meeting thinking, wow, this guy really knows what they're talking about. He just opened my eyes to how badly we're screwing this up. So let's dive in. Here is the first piece of technology you need to deploy on the calls. Control the frame in the first 2 minutes. One of the most common things I'm seeing right now, you guys are doing way too much, is having tons of random casual chit chat. How's the weather? Where are you calling from? What time zone are you in? Oh yeah, how's it going out there? Oh, local sports team. No, cut it all out. Weak opening lines and opening frames leads to the prospect controlling the conversation and rushing to pricing before you've built value or differentiation. You need to set up expert authority immediately and eliminate useless small talk. General rules, because this has come up a lot: don't pitch anyone in a moving vehicle, and don't pitch anyone who's wandering around a room who has their camera off because they're getting ready for a trip or whatever excuse they may give you. If they do these things and they're not a high-functioning CEO baller at an extremely high level, but you've established, you know their bona fides, you know their reputation, then just reschedule the call. Only pitch effectively, like basically you're going to pitch Mark Cuban. If Mark Cuban is going to get on a call with you, you get to pitch him. That's fine. He can be in a moving vehicle. He can be walking around a room with his camera off. Be sure it's actually Mark Cuban though. Anyone else, reschedule the meeting. Okay, so techniques, frame setting techniques. Cut straight to business after minimal pleasantries. When I say minimal pleasantries, I mean like 5 seconds. Like, oh, hey, Drew, good to meet you. How's it going over there? That's great to hear. All right, what I'd like to do today is, and then you boom right into the frame. Position it as evaluation. Hey, in order for me to even understand if I can help your business, I need to ask you a few questions. Is that all right? Establish your expertise. Hey, I'm going to tell you exactly what's wrong and how to fix it. Create binary outcomes. If I can't help you, I'll refer you to someone who could help you better. And prevent pricing pushback up front. Look, I don't even know if what we've got is right for you based on what I've heard, so I do need to understand that first. Here is the strong opening I would recommend you guys use. Hey, the goal of the call is for me to understand your business and see if I can even help you. If I can't, I'll refer you to someone who will be able to help you. If I can help you, I'll show you exactly how we would do that. Does that sound fair? Stick with that. If someone pushes you back against that frame, then you have 2 choices. Either you can get into some kind of a frame battle with them, or you can gently jiu-jitsu back into your own frame and agenda. That is the topic for another video. Go ahead and comment down below if you'd like me to film that video for you. Number 2, we're going to hop onto the second technique you need, which is leverage contemplation stage to handle their resistance. What do I mean by this? Prospects in B2B will often come on the calls, and B2C for that matter as well, saying, oh, they're just looking around. They're trying to deflect your sales process. This is usually because they're just trying to avoid that uncomfortable potential of sales pressure or awkward tactics. The solution is to match their contemplation stage and pull back harder than they do. Demonstrate you're not desperate for the business. This usually is going to cause them to lean back in. Match their energy, mirror it. If they pull back, you pull back farther. Question their commitment. Are you not even sure if this is even a problem? It sounds like you're not even convinced that this might be something you need to solve at this moment. Is that true, or am I barking up the wrong tree? Offer to end the call. Hey, this call may be premature then. If you're just looking around to get information, there's some emails I can send you with plenty of information. I can send you some YouTube videos. Are you just gathering information, or are you actively trying to solve your problem right now? If they don't admit there's a problem, there's probably no call. There's no sale to be made if they will not willingly admit that they are in blatant admitted pain. Get them talking pros and cons. Make their internal decision-making process verbal and external. If they say they're just gathering information, ask them, okay, sure, now what do you want to know? Or what other information are you looking to gather before you guys make a decision on whether or not there's a problem that you can solve or not? If they say they're looking to solve a problem, ask them, how come? Oh yeah, we're just looking to solve, we've got way too much turnover right now. Oh, how come? And that's going to get into the pain dive, right? Reframe it as education. Great. What other information would help you get further in your decision-making process? Because you do have to understand and respect that they are going through a decision-making process, right? That's just true in life. When companies are looking to solve problems, when people are looking to solve problems, they are going through a decision-making change process. And you've got to respect that. But you can help them go farther in their decision-making process yourself by asking them some of these pointed questions. Like, oh, what are the reasons that you possibly might change? Oh, interesting. Well, what are the reasons that you possibly might stay the same and decide not to change? Very powerful. An example, prospect says, oh, we're just looking around. You could respond with, oh, okay, great. What is it that you're specifically looking around for? What information specifically are you looking for? I'm not even sure if I could help you guys yet either. Are you even convinced this is a problem we're solving right now or not so much? And giving them those binary options is going to help them get off the fence and get into one of the two buckets. Either the bucket of we need to solve the problem, in which case you can proceed with your sales call, or the bucket of actually we don't need to solve the problem. We don't care about this problem. Let's get off the call. All right, flip the discovery script. Pain before pitch. Way too many of you guys out there are pitching before you have pain. That's correct. Salespeople are going to rush to pitch features instead of deeply understanding the prospect's current failures. No features until failures are established. Again, now we're getting to the competitive part of the situation. If they have an existing vendor, that existing vendor is probably failing in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the call with you. Current failures could also include analysis paralysis between too many different vendors and the default, which is just no decision. No decision is a failure state. So here's the solution. You're going to spend 60 to 70% of any call in discovery, unless they give you blatant admitted pain. And even if they do, you're going to dive deeper on that pain. But if they're not giving you blatant admitted pain, you need to stay with that until they give you blatant admitted pain. 60 to 70% of the call, if necessary. Then use their pain against their current solution. You're going to want to gather a complete list of all the ways and all the places they're effing up, and then give them your professional insights as to the fact that there's a better method, a vehicle, that they could get in to help them get to their destination, and then share with them why they should prefer you, the vendor, as the driver of that better vehicle or method. So you get the analogy here. Everyone has a goal that they want to get to, personal or business. They need to get into a new method, a new vehicle, which is probably what you sell. They need to make sure they're choosing the right driver to drive that vehicle, which is you. You need to get the compelling reasons why they should switch to your method versus the method they're already using that's already sucking and not working. Then they need to get compelling reasons why you are the correct driver of that vehicle to get them to their destination. You can look at my video on the meta sale or the Uber Black method of sales to understand this concept in more depth. Discovery strategy. Double click on vague words. When they say, oh yeah, we're struggling with efficiency or we're struggling with targeting, you need to ask them, oh, what do you mean specifically when you say that word targeting? What specifically are you struggling with within targeting? I use this analogy of boxes, little tiny boxes. I don't know why this visual just makes sense for my brain, but maybe it'll make sense to yours too, is when they're telling you problems or issues with their business or their personal life, it's as if they're putting a bunch of tiny little cardboard boxes on a table in front of you. Just imagine they're giving you like 1 inch by 1 inch square boxes, and they're just putting a bunch of them on the table in front of you. Now, some of those boxes are red herrings, meaning they're not relevant to your sale. And some of them are actually the pain boxes. So you need to double click on all the boxes to understand where the pain is until you have enough reps in sales that you can intuitively understand which boxes you need to double click in. And words like efficiency or targeting, those are examples of boxes you should open and expand, because I promise you there's a whole Pandora's box of problems within some of those tiny boxes on the table. They're actually bigger on the inside than they are on the outside when you open them up. So that's what you want to do. Current vendor details. Uncover these. Contract length, how satisfied they are, what would they change if they had a magic wand, why or why not, what's good, what's bad. Previous failed attempts. What have they tried before and why didn't it work? Map those out. You want to understand and you want to have them explain to you in their own words the business strategies or the personal strategies they used to try to solve their problem or get to their goal. When they inevitably mess up in describing the efforts that they took, now that puts you on a pedestal because you can then come in later in a moment, as I'm about to show you, and you can shed expert light on why they failed, on why the method they used in the past failed. Now, you want to quantify their pain, get specific numbers on costs, amount of time wasted, missed opportunities, including costs of staying the same and the cost of inaction. These are often different. The cost of inaction could be different than the cost of staying the same, but you want to get both costs. So there could be a cost to the business in not expanding, and the business could also be currently running processes or systems that are actually costing it money because the performance level is so much lower than you could offer, for example. So you want to think in differentials and you want to think in comparisons. The mind creates meaning through comparison. So you want to draw out those comparisons by getting the cost of inaction, the cost of staying the same. Stay neutral. Neutral tonality is key to all this, so it doesn't sound like you're dogging on their current business or their current personal choices. Don't comment positively or negatively on their current results. Just gather data. Then after getting permission to share insights, you're going to blast them with your expertise. So, transition example. Let's get into this concept. Based on everything you shared, I'm confident I can help you. And I've got several key observations I would like to share. Is it all right with you if I share some insights based on my 10 years experience in this field? That's where you're going to insert your own social proof, where I've written X social proof here. You're going to use whatever social proof you have in the field to justify why they should listen to your expertise. So you might say, based on my 10 years of experience, you might say, based on our results helping 1,700 companies similar to yours. You might say, based on the fact that we won a Nobel Peace Prize, based on the fact that we are number one in the industry on this particular metric, whatever it is, you're going to insert it right here. So you ask them, mind if I share some insights that come from an expert? And that's going to get them to say, absolutely, I would love to hear your insights. A lot of times people hop on sales calls because they want expert consulting for free, and you are going to leverage this desire to set them up for the pitch. If you just start pitching, it's going to feel like every other sales call. It's not a highly effective way to do it. It's pretty boring, actually, and you're not going to win many deals. The way to close 40+%, as I've helped many people do many times and many companies, is to actually set it up this exact way. So they are getting what they feel is expert consulting instead of a pitch. So you're going to ask that question. They're going to see, yes, of course, Drew, I'd love to hear your expert insights. Then you're going to blast them with your insights. This raises your status relative to them. It teaches them the nuance, and it also demonstrates you know more and are more capable and skilled than your current vendor or any other vendor they're likely to talk to. Very important, if you're the first vendor they talk to, you want to set the bar extremely high for other vendors to reach. If you're the last vendor they talk to, you want to blow every other vendor out of the water in terms of how expert you sound, how authoritative you sound, how concrete your examples, all that good stuff. So you really want to stand out. Number 4, another way is to demolish competitors before you even pitch. Now, prospects are going to compare you to commodity services and assume you're all the same. So one of the things you have to do is position their current solution as outdated and ineffective as part of that blast of insights before presenting your approach. So here's some specific examples. Call out their mistakes. Yeah, 50% unqualified rate is horrific. It should be 90% qualified. That's a 2019 approach. That doesn't work anymore. We did that back in 2019 as well, but we quickly switched it up when it stopped working. I'm surprised these guys are still doing that. Create urgency around switching. Oh, every month you stay with them, it looks like it's costing you $50,000 in lost opportunities. Would you agree? Again, that's drawing the distinction out that I was talking about earlier. Do you want to do this like 2019, or would you rather do a 2015 version that's working today? Don't sugarcoat. Their current approach is failing them. They would not be on the call with you if they were making so much money they didn't know what to do with it. They would not be on the call. So don't sugarcoat it. You know that they're failing. You know that they're in trouble. And it's your moral obligation and responsibility to help them get out of that trouble, if you can. The spray and pray method your current agency uses is why you're getting garbage leads. That worked in 2019, but today's buyers are much more savvy. That's why you only have 50% qualified lead rate. You're burning money every month if you don't fix this. How long do you want to keep burning money? Do you want to keep burning money? No, I'd really prefer to fix it. All right, when do you want to fix it? I want to fix it right now. Okay, are you sure? You don't have to. Yeah, I absolutely do. No, absolutely. We're ready to go. Just show me a better way. Okay, are you sure you want to see a better way? Because you don't have to do this. There's many other things you could be doing with your time and money right now. No, this is really a priority. Okay, well then let me go ahead and show you how we do things and how we can stop you from burning money every month. And if we do show you a good solution, just to be clear, you're committed to fixing this or you're not. Maybe you're going to still stay. You want to give these guys another 3 to 6 months to prove themselves out. Do you want to give that, or do you want to actually switch and make money? You see what I'm doing? I'm looping back and I'm consistently building their commitment to change, letting it be entirely their decision. You want to close with logical consequences, not pressure. Salespeople still rely on pushy tactics instead of make switching the obvious logical choice. What you want to do is build a mathematical case for why staying with the current solution is going to cost them more than switching. So look into contract fees, onboarding time, learning curve, whether they have an existing vendor or they're looking at other vendors. You want to evaluate and dive into this. By the way, I have 2 resources down below that'll help you with these multi-stakeholder battles. Those are completely free. If you hit the link in the description, you can download those. One of them is a vendor comparison worksheet that you can fill out on the call. The second one is a one-page business case, just helps in general in B2B sales. Cost of staying the same, lost revenue, wasted spend, opportunity cost over time. Present the math, stay with them for 3 months. It's going to cost you $57,000 in lost deals. And then offer test periods, remove risk with performance guarantees or trial periods. What if they could be doing a trial period with you that cost them nothing for 3 months, and you can prove that they're losing $57,000 in lost deals? Well, that would probably be pretty convincing and a convincing reason for them to switch. Make sure that you're handling objections with questions. Oh, when you say you're going to go think about this, what specifically are you thinking about? Is it the cost or the results? Just for example, you said you're locked in with them for 3 more months at $5,000 per month, but if I can get you 2 extra deals, qualified deals in that time that are worth $30,000 each, wouldn't paying a cancellation fee with them actually make you money? Present them with this type of logical contrast so that they can make more informed decisions. If you've won them over with your better thinking and insights, which is job 1, they're already emotionally resonating with you as a partner. They just need a logical reason to justify the emotional buying decision they've probably already made. Give them a compelling business case that they can present strongly to the rest of the org. And that's where the 2 bonuses down below will come in. I'll give you a format and template for the business case that they can then present to the rest of the organization in the B2B case. With B2C, you don't need a business case. You can just sell pretty much purely on emotion. But some of those questions that I was asking earlier will help you do that. Are you sure you want to change? You don't have to. No one's going to make you. Do you really want to change? Do you want to change now? You can always wait. That type of thing is going to help a lot more in B2C. Then engineer the follow-up for maximum commitment. Prospects say, let me think about it, and then they ghost or cancel at the last minute on the follow-up meetings. The solution is to create specific timelines and coach them on internal selling. Follow-up engineering. This is what you want to do. Tie it to a specific event. Oh, when's your next team meeting that you're going to consult with a team on? Okay, let's schedule right after that. Next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Coach their internal pitch. Okay, when you talk to the team, what are you going to say to them about us? Oh, interesting. That's one way you could say it. Would it be all right if I suggested an alternative way to present it? Yes, of course, it'd be fine. Okay, maybe you should emphasize this, this, and this because the team, as you mentioned to me, cares a little bit more about X, Y, and Z. Address the decision criteria. What exactly will this decision be made on? Is it purely budget or is it just results? Qualify the follow-up. Only book if they have agreed in principle to move forward. You don't want to create fake follow-up in your pipeline. You can always call them out and say, hey, if this is just a no, it's just a no, that's totally fine. I don't want to have to chase you down unnecessarily. I'm sure you don't want me to chase you unnecessarily. So you tell me, is this something that you want to do or not so much? You can be frank with me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. You can also create urgency hooks. Sometimes you only have enough time on a first call to go through a thorough evaluation of their problems and their pain. Again, discovery could take 60 to 70% of the call. That could be 20, 30, 40 minutes, and you've just covered all the pain in their current organization. You might have to end it there and break it up into a second call, especially if they or you have a hard stop, and you might have to say, hey, based on what you've told me, Jim, here's what's broken with your current organization of way of doing it, but let me show you the solution. It's going to take a little bit longer than the 2 minutes we have left, so would you be opposed to us scheduling another call and I can walk you through how exactly we'd finish this up and we'd solve this for you? That's a 2-call close. Or you mentioned talking to your co-founder. When's your next meeting with him? Okay, great. Let's set a follow-up meeting right after that. When you explain the solution to him, I would focus on ROI numbers rather than the technical details, and here's why. What I found in similar situations is blah, 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 blah. And these are your bonus tools to use, available for free below, the one-page business case and the B2B competitive vendor matrix. People often ask me, Drew, I get on that second call for the 2-call close, and maybe in my business, we do a free audit, right? The first call is just the discovery, and then we want to get credentials, access to their ad account or whatever it is. We're going to do a free audit, or their internal email. We're going to get credentials, do a free audit. Then on the second call, we are going to present the audit. So how should I structure my second call? How should I structure my follow-up call? Well, this is how you structure it. Most people wing these, by the way, and they lose momentum for the first meeting. The emotions that were temporary anyway from the first meeting are completely gone. Maybe the point of contact at the company just had a great meeting internally and they're all jazzed and they don't feel any pain at all. And they're like, we can totally handle this on our own. They're riding high. There's no pain. What are you going to do? You need to use a pain-heavy summary framework that emotionally re-engages the prospect. You want to take them back emotionally into the low place they were at when they realized they needed a comprehensive solution. So recap the cost of an action, what hasn't worked, and why they can't solve it alone. So we talked about wanting to solve this now, right? Anything changed since our last call? Get them to recommit to the urgency. Has anything come up on your radar that would cause the company to abandon this principled approach to solving this problem? Or is everything just the same as when we last talked? No, everything's the same. We still need to fix this. Okay, great. Let's proceed. Or if they say, actually, the company, the CEO doesn't know where he's going. He brought up this huge new initiative. I'm not even sure this is relevant. Okay, not a problem. Should we then not even have this call and revisit in 3 to 6 months when maybe he circles back to wanting to solve this pain point? A lot of CEOs are like that. Do a permission-based transition. Do you want me to walk you through how we'd help you solve this problem? After they've gone back into the pain, so you're going to recap the pain. Hey, last time you told me that this was costing you $40,000 a month. You couldn't solve this on your own. Things have been dragging along and your job is at risk. Is that still the same, or did something change since we last talked? Okay, that being the case, would it be all right if I walked you through our solution? Don't recreate the entire discovery, just hit the emotional high points and give them space to bring up concerns or objections before moving into your pitch. You want them to put all those objections on the table, again, with those little boxes, so you can know that those are arrayed against you. Then you can sort of pre-handle those objections, or you can position your pitch to address them directly as you go through the pitch. So it might sound like this. We spoke last week. You mentioned that your current lead gen is getting 50% unqualified meetings, costing you $15,000 a month in wasted sales time, and your team is frustrated. You said you need to solve this by Q4 to hit your growth goals. Has anything changed since then? Key point, businesses often start a vendor search to motivate their current failing vendor. Be prepared for them to say their current guy is cleaning up his act or getting his rear end gear and results are improving. Be patient. If the vendor got lazy once before, you can best believe they're going to slip up again. So stay in follow-up mode. Be professionally persistent. Stay omnipresent and top of mind for the prospect, and then you can swoop in when they inevitably drop the ball again. And that's the training for today, guys. I cannot stress how much it is important that you become a knife fighter, that you have sharper elbows than anybody else in your whole industry if you're in a commodified, heavily competitive market. And hopefully, if you follow the structure I presented in this training, you guys will be able to win more deals. If you want more help, go ahead and comment down below in the comments. If you are an individual salesperson, go ahead and check out our school community. That is also linked in the description of this video. Cheers, and I'll see you guys in the very next one.